Snoopy has run once or twice in terms of streaming. We've also seen, I think, Shushe running Jarvan. I don't know in the LCS season. It has been LCS. I thought so. I'm like, oh, doubt myself. But Brickhead, if he gets Shen, it's going to be scary. It was his Shen performance against Gambit that really steamrolled him to victory in week 1. And you just know how solid Wicked is in that top lane.
Well, it was kind of obvious that the Shen will be there somewhere along the line. And it looks like EG going to secure that one here for that top lane. And, you know, we've seen how effective it's been. The Darien Shen, which had 4,600 million hit points by the end of that last game. Like, you just couldn't kill the guy. Yeah. And, you know, obviously with his ultimate in there, the ability to split push, overall just an amazing champion. And there is a Draven pickup. Now, Draven was played by Evil Geniuses yesterday. Yellowpete picked it up, ran it, and tried to put a lot of pressure down with it, and did very well, especially in the early game. But if anybody's going to know how to deal with the Draven, it is going to be Hosan. He was the first big name in EU to really use Draven. Needly and Kha'Zix have been picked up. The terror of Alexish yesterday. Can Shushe channel his inner, Alex to get a similar performance? It's definitely possible, isn't it? I mean, Shushe has been impressive so far. He likes his high mobility champions. We'll see him being present in the lanes as well, no doubt. So let's have a look what EG are going to go for here. And I was wondering, they've not banned Draven out here, EG, and, well, that's why. Because they had the plans themselves to go head-to-head with Hosan. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take something like a Taric for the support, just because of the early pressure. Yeah. It is so immense. You'll notice that the Dragonborns have not picked their bottom lane yet. So we'll see how that decides to get played out. I also am questioning myself as to who is going to play Kha'Zix and who's going to play Needly, because if they want to go for that AP spear-throwing Needly, it's the Meadly is what you normally need to usually see. But after last week's performances, Shushe was quite vocal, saying, well, we don't want Spontex and Ka because he didn't dive in as quickly as I wanted him to. He wasn't as aggressive as I was. So that's why my first instinct is there. But again, those lanes could swap. They could go anyway. So EG choosing here to pair Sona up with Draven and also selecting the Zed. First one of the day. Yeah, first one of the day. And again, Zed, we talked about in the previous matchup. It was Alex that used him very, very well, tearing people's faces apart. The damage is great, single target focus, great mobility. He's going to be able to use that living shadow of his to get over walls, etc. And we've seen Elise being locked in. So there's no carry unless Needly's going to be the carry here for Dragonborns, because this has just blown everything wide open. With Elise and Soraka being locked in, that makes me assume that Needly is going to be the AD carry with Soraka in the bottom lane and Jarvan in the jungle? Bananas. I mean, I have no idea about this composition, because it's not traditional at all. And if the Dragonborns have done a lot of preparation for this matchup, you can even see Crepa's face. I mean, WTF, mate. Yeah, like, how do you respond to this? Who's going where? There's going to be about a minute on the clock that the teams will have to swap champions, swap runes, swap mastery pages, and Evil Geniuses are going to have to do their absolute best guesswork here as to what's going to happen. Because any one of those 4 champions has the ability to deal damage, to poke, to, it's an awesome composition if they're going to go with it. Well, let's see what EG are going to finish up with. It seems to be a difficult choice for them, but in the end, they're going to settle in with that Twisted Fate. So that's going to be Froggen having the Twisted Fate, obviously, in the middle lane, Yellowpete with Draven, with Sona with Crepo, and I'm guessing that the Shen is going to be in that top lane, or is Snoopy going to have it in the jungle? That's what I was thinking about. It's one or two different ways. The ninjas can go in either position, and I would think that Snoopy would take Shen because he does tend to play those utility type of junglers a little bit more. So it does look like Wicked's going to take Zed. It's going to be the first time we're seeing him on Zed, and I'm extremely happy about that because he's played ninjas and crocodiles. I stand to be corrected, but the majority of this entire LCS, 4 games on Renekton, 2 on Akali, 2 on Shen, and his team has played 11 games, so I don't think the math adds up there. There's a couple missing. But yeah, energy-based, it's just ninja the entire time. It's going to be a Elise Soraka bottom lane. It's going to be Needly, and Spontex is getting Kha'Zix. So I have no idea what Dragonborns are doing at this comp. Well, I'm excited to see it. And actually, they've got a last-minute switch. It's going to be an AD Needly in that bottom lane. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, we saw that Hosan brought that Draven to the table. Last-second swap. At the last second, Needly going to the bottom lane. I did say that.
Yeah, sorry. I was asking Aranea about the composition and the kill lane and how it was going to work out. Do you see it working?
Well, in theory, sure. In practice, not so sure.
Now, one of the things they do have, which is great, is the range of Nidalee when she throws a javelin, tosses out. You're going to get the mana from Soraka, which is just going to be, you know, keeping her topped up as long as Soraka manages her mana correctly. And I'm going to take a very quick look at the runes and masteries here for Hosan. He's opted to go for spell penetration 14 and then 8%. So he's obviously going to be, you know, scaling ability power. He started with 34 AP.
Well, I mean, you've got Spontex in that top. I mean, that's the good thing about Nidalee, technically, that you can farm from range with her. You've got those spears in there as well. I mean, this can really work out for Dragonborns. Once that Nidalee, I mean, it's going to get a lot of farm. Anyway, in this bottom lane, if they end up going in the bottom lane, we have to really talk about that as well, because we've seen it from other teams that just because someone in a different lane's playing a champion that you normally see in another lane doesn't mean that they're going to play in their usual lane.
Yes, 100% true. They can decide to swap it up and move around. And something else that we need to look at with the composition, Nidalee's got to heal. Soraka's got to heal. So any damage that Draven and Sona are going to put at these early levels with the poke, with the spinning axes and power chords, it's just going to get healed off very, very quickly. And they're not exactly a massive burst combo. It's not like an Ezreal, a Taric, or a Taric Graves lane where you can just get dropped 100-0 with a full combo.
Yeah, and obviously it means that you've got double AP at the same time. I mean, you've got the AD coming out of Kha'Zix, out of Jarvan as well. So, no, it's a bit of a different role, just having that Nidalee in there in the position which you'd normally say is reserved for the AD carry. So we'll have to see how this one all works out. It looks like Hosan and Movet may be thinking about doing golems here, or even going up to that top side of the jungle to help Jarvan out a little bit on his start from that.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need just that little bit of HP just to help him out on the red buff, maybe take his smite list, allow him to move up to the blue buff and get that quicker. It does not look like there's going to be any lane swaps at the moment, so it is going to be the Nidalee and Soraka bottom lane, and itemization is going to be so important here, because if Maluno or Spontex fall a little bit behind, the physical damage that they're going to be putting down is going to be quite lacking, and that's really where the pressure is going to come from. A Nidalee Spear is always going to hurt. Once you get those Sorcerer's Boots and, you know, some additional ability power, the later the game goes, the harder they hit.
Well, Hosan and Movet now moving down into this bottom lane. And you can see that Hosan obviously feeling comfortable as Wicked going to get dove on here by Spontex. The Ignite burning away. Spontex not quite got the damage there, though.
And Spontex, he picked that fight before he was level 2. He's just hit level 2 now. So he's got a point into his leap. If he had waited just a tiny bit longer, with the leap and Taste of Fear, he may have actually been able to pick up first blood.
That was a very aggressive play out of Spontex. He was hoping to hit level 2 kind of during that whole thing, which didn't really work out for him, but he's done a good job of keeping Wicked away from that farm up until now. Obviously, he does have the range there with Zed to get in. Spontex was just hoping that minion would take his down, but Wicked is still managing to get those creeps on his side. But Spontex going to hit level 3 there. Is he going to go aggressive in? We are seeing Maluno here off to the side, so there is an option for that gank to come around. Spontex, though, I'm not sure he'll be able to bait him out. And we see Jarvan actually headed up now in towards the brush. So he's going to come straight through this lane. Will Wicked be aggressive enough there?
It depends, because Wicked's not only got Flash available, he also has his Living Shadow, which is going to be another, you know, mini blink effectively, you know, just put distance between yourself and your enemies. One thing that's so good for Wicked, though, is because he uses energy instead of mana, he can just spam his abilities all day long. That Razor Shuriken as well, the Q, it deals consistent damage after hitting the first target. So you can also farm more accurately on it than you can on some of the other abilities, which, you know, get weaker and weaker as they go.
Maluno is still waiting here in that brush. Wicked up to level 3 now, obviously. Does have that slight disadvantage there. He finally hits level 4. We're not going to see Maluno going. There's the jump over. Can they get the finisher? Maluno backs off.
And once again, Wicked face-checking the bush. He needed to just go in there and see. He did get away with the use of his flash, though. But if he gets caught out again, he will probably give up first blood. Spontex is a very happy camper in that lane. Props to Wicked, though. He's not falling behind in CS. He is still keeping up, albeit with this recall, and it'll put him a little bit behind.
Yeah, got to keep himself calm in that situation, you know, not let it kind of get to you that you are being pressured so heavily. In this bottom lane, Crepo has taken good couple of hits. Obviously, those spears going to be flying out from Hosan, and EG are going to have to try and dodge them as Crepo does take another one. Good catch.
Yeah, and what a great combo in this bottom lane. If Hosan gets another hit, it might be enough. Crepo's going to be able to just sidestep that one, though. The amount of counter pressure that you have from a Soraka and a Needle, you see they're just going to keep healing one another. They're going to farm from range, continue to throw those spears out. Whether they're on their turret or at the enemy turret, they're so safe. And as soon as they hit level 6, the Wish, the heals, and the Cougar form, you're not going to catch Needly and pin her down.
Very interesting setup to the start of this one. Quite a passive first few minutes here as well. We're down to the 5.5 minute mark, which we're used to seeing Dragonborns having a couple of kills at least under their belt by this stage. But as you mentioned, the first time that these two teams met, it was quite a passive game anyway. It
definitely was, and it was a thing that actually worked against the Dragonborns because they allowed Evil Geniuses to farm themselves into a power position, and then just the team fight superiority that Evil Geniuses had won them in the mid to late game. So Dragonborns have had a couple of weeks. We're approaching halfway through the season. We're in week 4 of, I think it's 10 in total. And the Dragonborns are going from strength to strength. And if this new cheese composition, if I dare say that, works, then, they're even theory crafting better than their opponents now as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, in theory, it's a great thing. Both can heal each other. You got the mana feeding into Nidalee constantly through this one. So, in theory, it's a great thing, as I said before. But in practice, we've seen time and time again that theory crafting is only one part of really having a good setup in there. In terms of farm, 36 to 45, Draven got that advantage there. He's got Doran's Blade and a longsword in there as well. As you see those spears just knocking them a little bit low. And once Hosan goes back after this for his first buy and comes back with a bit more AP, then gonna be dangerous.
I definitely want to see how he's going to decide to itemize, because it's very apparent that Destiny comes in.
Here comes Twisted Fate. Hosan only level 5. They get the slowdown. No stun card pulled by Froggen, but he's going to have that up here in a minute. And they knock him off to the side. There is the stun card. Is Hosan going to survive this one? They heal the barrier. First blood picked up by Scumbag Crepo.
Scumbag Crepo is on the way out. The bananas carry on landing, but it took so long to pick up that kill. Exhaust and heals and barrier and flash. Everything was used, and I mean that was a 10, 12, 15 seconds of continued auto attacks to get the kill. We do see the Sorcerer Shoes have been picked up for Hosan, so once he gets back into the lane, the additional movement speed will help him survive those next ganks. And we say it time and time again, if your Twisted Fate picks up a gank with his first use to Destiny, it's looking good for you.
Yeah, certainly is. If he can keep going that way, and they're going to be pushing on in this game. I mean, that's going to allow the Sightstone to be picked up, as well as a Pink Ward. Health pot coming in as well there for Crepo after getting that first blood picked up. And we already talked a little bit about this one earlier on, and we then rated as well that, okay, you might want those first bloods going onto your AD carry, your AP carry, but in the end of the day, even if it goes to the support, it's still beneficial for the entire team as a whole.
And take a look at the decision here from Crepo. Because he got that first blood in the additional gold, instead of going for a GP10 now, which is going to help you in the mid to long game, he picked up a Sightstone immediately. So not only has he got, that additional HP out of the Sightstone, the vision it's going to give him for the time when Shushae's Elise comes down, when Jarvan comes down, when Spontex comes and says, hi guys, I'm still here, it's going to allow them to stay safe in lane. So a really smart decision, not just blindly going, I need more money because I don't get CS.
Yeah, and one other thing that we didn't really mention, we mentioned it, I think, last week when we saw that Draven in the middle lane. Was that last week or was that Friday? It's been a long weekend, Super Week. It was, yeah.
Maybe it's Saturday.
So basically, it's sometime in the past.
Yes.
It's all melded into one this Super Week, but for the good reasons, that we've had some amazing games. But we mentioned that, Nidalee has technically got an easy shot onto Draven when he's going to catch those axes.
Yeah, it's so true. It allows you to predict that very well. And it just means Yellow Pete's decision-making has to be on point. Maluno is level 6. Cataclysm is available. Can they stick onto Zed, though?
Well, Wicked gonna get slowed up. Here we go. Knockup gonna come into action. Wicked is gonna get himself away, but how far? The Cataclysm gets locked in. Shen actually will come up there, and they don't manage to pick it up. What was used in that one? Cataclysm was used. We saw the Ignite used out of Spontex as well. Wicked using his flash ulti.
Maluno and Spontex deserve mega noddy badges because they waited patiently until the Living Shadow was used. The second that Wicked pressed W on Z, they went, let's go in now. He had no escape outside of his flash. They jumped in and collapsed on him, and the timing could not have been better. Unfortunate for Wicked to, get collapsed on, but he survives. And even with the pressure that Maluno's putting top, he is out-farming Spontex right now.
Yeah, doing a really amazing job here. Is Wicked. Got a pickaxe, BF sword, long sword in there until now. As I was talking earlier on about Yellow Pete, obviously got the assist from that first blood. He has got that Vamp Scepter, double Doran's Blade, and the boots as well. That mobility going to be a big factor for him in dodging those spears.
Yeah, so true. Hosan now, he's taken a couple of those spinning axes from Yellow Pete and starting to lose a little bit of HP. But just look how quickly he gets back up to health. Muvat Soraka has got 3 points into her W, the Astral Blessing, and it's on a fairly high cooldown right now. It's still sitting around 17 seconds as Spontex goes aggressive.
Yeah, Wicked trying to escape the repel, going to come down. Have they got the damage to finish this one off? The problem that they have is Twisted Fate just popped his ultimate there. Actually, he's going to turn around here and go in towards Maluno. How smart can a man be? That was great from Froggen.
Yeah, really, really
Maluno
well
had
played.
no idea what just happened.
No, absolutely no clue where he'd went, but he also managed to save them up in the top lane, but Maluno hasn't had enough.
Yep, comes back in there, but Froggen just walking away from that one. Maluno really was confused by what happened there. Really cool move coming out of Froggen. In that top lane, Elise was still there. As we hear the low health pings, which we can probably get used to hearing at this stage because that's Nidalee managing to land stuff onto Crepo.
Yeah, spear after spear. Haunting Guys has been completed for Shusha's Elise on that previous buy, so the amount of burst, the penetration coming down from the boots and that little mask is going to be very, very good. And one of those spinning axes actually not hitting Muvo all too quite as hard as you'd actually expect at this low level. Yeah. It's not the burst that we were seeing, earlier in the week when it was going against the likes of a Zyra, etc. So extra 56 armor on Muvet. He's obviously ruined fairly heavily down that path.
Yeah, good to be defensive and knowing that before Nidalee really gets that AP up with the spears. Yeah, they still hurt, of course, but they're not going to be that much of a threat to really force Yellow Pete off when he's going to go aggressive on that one as well. So let's have a look at the overall picture. 13.8 thousand gold to 15,500 in favour of EG. Obviously, no turrets taken down yet. Just the one single kill. As we are going to see Wicked going in aggressive there onto Spontex. Half of his health taken away, but that's all.
Now, in terms of the gold, in terms of how it all works out, a team with Twisted Fate is always going to be in the lead for gold, all right? Because part of his passive, you gain an additional 2 for every CS you pick up. And if you look down the board, you can see 100, 100, 100. Just that alone, you're talking about 600 gold from the passive. The more they allow Evil Geniuses to farm, Shusha wants blood.
Yeah, actually was going in there. The cocoon misses, but look at the damage coming out. Barrier used by Froggen. That will keep him alive. The Ignite was ticking, but, well, without the barrier, he would have been dead there. That
volatile Spiderling absolutely destroyed Froggen's HP bar. It was comboed with the Neurotoxin Poison as well, so, the two bangs together managed to chunk his HP. If that cocoon had landed, it definitely would have been a reply kill. Evil Genius is a start to the Dragon, but the Dragonborns want to defend their kin.
Yeah, down to less than half HP. Maluno off to the side. We saw him stealing Barons yesterday. We are going to see Crescendo. Froggen coming in on the backside. Gets a stun onto Shusha. Has to move away from that one as Maluno's ultimate did go down there. The Cataclysm failing to hold him in as they get the cocoon on towards Snoopy. Can they get the finisher? Yes, they can. And Maluno's got in over the other side. Draven goes down. Froggen is actually really low here right now. Needs to be careful. They got the stun card on to stop them pushing him further, but that's 2 kills for Dragonborns.
That is a great set of kills. They've put some more pressure now onto this middle lane with Spontex and Hosan chunking down the tower. It's not going to survive long. Spontex goes super aggressive, diving forward. Can he catch Froggen?
Oh, the spear comes in from the side. Spontex going to get around, cleans up house. And that is 3 kills. I mean, Wicked did actually start pushing. He's going to take that tower in the top lane, but 3 kills and a dragon for Dragonborns. Brilliant play.
And they get the middle turret down to about 500 hit points as soon as they apply. Yeah, as soon as they apply a tiny bit more pressure, that is going to go down. Dragonborn's saying, it's something you come to expect. They are going to dive. They're going to fight. They are going to go, go, go. And, the presence of mind from Spontex to jump into that Wraith camp and go, well, I think someone's close by.
I hear Wicked's health being pinged away because Hosan did connect with the spear. The second one not too far away from landing either, and that is because the needlessly large rod now with Nidalee, and that just offers such, it gives such a big difference to those spears. We saw how low it took Frog and allowed Spontex to get in there to clean up, and we've got to kill pretty much the pieces down in this bottom lane. Yellow Pete going to be pressured by Shushe. He's actually going to force Shushe to back away there as he saw Crepo coming in.
Yeah, as soon as Crepo was there and he realized just how many minions there was, Shushe doesn't really want to take on, you know, an army of the red team's minions. So he does decide to back away, but he landed the cocoon from the side, catching Yellow Pete just a tiny bit out, you know, not being aware of that cocoon shot coming in and the volatile spiderling just cleaning house as far as the CS is concerned. We haven't taken a look at the CS for a tiny bit, and it's pretty much even across the board. There's no real point going into 10 CS difference in the bottom lane. Take a look at the gold and how it's matching up. Thanks to the dragon and the towers plus some kills, it's fairly close across the board.
Yeah, there's definitely not a massive difference at this stage. And also back and forth there in terms of who's really got the lead. But EG here looking for their second tower of the game. This outer bottom turret is the cocoon just flashing by Crepo there. That could have been dangerous. Move-Up was coming in on the side. Jarvan's actually coming in here. They're going to try and collapse around EG, but not sure they've quite got the pace. But look at the two coming in from the Tribush. Hosan and Spontex both coming in. They saw the spear coming out. Ultimate going to be put down by Twisted Fate. Will he join the party? Snoopy takes a big hit. Spontex would be able to jump away from that one if needed. And as a Twisted Fate ulti times out, Dragonborns not messing around. Another spear comes around. Actually connects onto Snoopy. The void spikes will be avoided with a shadow dash.
And he hits Yellow Pete again. The damage is just so high. Look at Hosan's position. He does not afraid anything and just carries on pushing spear after spear. And if they connect, someone's going to go down.
Yeah, but look at this. Froggen that entire time pushing straight down the middle lane, doing exactly what they needed to do. They've lost that outer turret in the bottom lane, but they've taken a middle outer turret for the pleasure. We do have right now the Fiendish Codex plus that Sheen in there for Froggen on Twisted Fate. Bloodthirst to finish for Draven at this point. Haunting, I can't even get my words out today. Haunting guys, blasting one sock shoes for Elise. And as you said earlier on, the damage coming out of those volatile spiralings is actually pretty high already.
Yeah, it's really able to clear waves very quickly. You can see that blade on Zed. It's obviously just going to synergize so well with every single ability in his kit, allowing him to survive a little bit more in lane. His tower is still up. He was able to push down Spontex's tower during the last of these pushes, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Frog in this matchup because Twisted Fate's going to be responsible for defending and pushing the towers as and when Dragonborns decide to group up. Evil Geniuses pretty much just take a free tower as DB are not anywhere to defend it, but it looks like Spontex may take the top tower.
Here we go then. Actually, stun card failed by Frog, and he actually hit the minion. Pretty sure that was meant to be clicked on Spontex, but he will say, well, I guess I was a little bit lucky there to get away with that one. But will he keep going? Yellow Pete losing a ton of health there. The spear coming in, and he's running at a pretty predictable path here as another spear comes around. That one not quite landing on its target, but running the elixir right now as well, Hosan. He wants that boost at this point.
Yeah, 119 CS, Rabadon's death cap as well as those sorcerer shoes completed, so he's hitting extremely hard. 266 ability power at 18 minutes. The cocoon lands onto Wicked. Are they going to go aggressive though? That's the question. He does manage to get very good wave clear using that little spinning slash of his. It is the ability he's maxed first, and it's going to give him, you know, really safe clear from a distance, which is going to help against Nidalee.
And Hosan is not afraid to just keep spamming those spears. And, well, with Mover in there on Soraka, he can just keep doing so all day long.
It was one of the things that we noticed, you know, when Ocelot was playing Nidalee, they denied him the blue buff. Dragonborns, look at that, one spear into Wicked, below half health. The rest of Dragonborns continue focusing the tower.
Here we go then. Are they going to be able to get in? Cocoon does actually miss its target. We see the Spiderling doing good damage. Spontex at the side here. Froggen actually he's going to get the stun down onto Spontex, and they're going to go in for him. In the end, the ultimate coming out off Soraka to keep him healed.
That was a little bit questionable from Mover. He threw the wish down in the anticipation that Spontex may have been jumped on by more members of Evil Geniuses, but they didn't spend anything more than the gold card, so it was a bit of a waste of a cooldown. So well played by EG to at least get that out of him. And for the next sort of 2 or so minutes, that's not going to be available for a big fight. I imagine that the Dragonborns are going to slow the pace down now, wait for that to come back, because it's such a game changer in the middle of a fight to give that several hundred HP to every single member of your team. Dragon will be up in 30 seconds.
200 or maybe just 150 or so gold difference right now. It's super, super close, tied on turrets. Dragonborns got that kill advantage. I mean, it's with Kha'Zix, with Jarvan, one with Nidalee as well. It's a good spread across the board. The single kill for EG on Crepo. You know, he secured that first blood earlier on in the game. Now has Chalice in there, that null magic mantle. Against this setup that we've got from Dragonborns, what do you expect to come out item-wise from EG?
Okay, well, take a look at this. You can see, first and foremost, Froggen's doing something very interesting. Against the amount of magic damage that's coming down and against, you know, the pressure that he's feeling, he's actually gone aggressive. He's picked up a Deathfire Grasp first, instead of going for something like a Zhonya's or the Lichbane. He has the Sheen for that. So they're anticipating the aggression, and I think that the call from EG is to just say, look, blow somebody up when they jump in. When Jarvan and Kha'Zix comes in here, they're playing aggressive, so pick up a kill as quickly as possible and then collapse around the rest of your team. They desperately need to rush the Aegis of the Legion because the amount of magic damage is very high. And Dragonborns, are they going to get caught out?
Yeah, Dragonborns do team kill the dragon once again.
A joke will never get old.
It will never, ever get old.
For the rest of this season, that is what it's going to be. And I was talking about a moment or two ago how important Froggen's going to be with his destiny to split push and, you know, keep the Dragonborns at bay. Dragonborns want to fight. Dragonborns want to be in your face as a champion. And they do have, you know, pretty good wave clear coming out of Elisa's Spiderlings, the volatile ones, and the Void Spikes from Ka. But, you know, Jarvan, he can do it with his EQ, etc. If Shen and Twisted Fate can keep the map pushed and keep the map in control, Evil Geniuses are going to be in a very happy place. Snoopy just walks in casually and says, Hosan, you don't have smite. Thank you very much.
Yeah, manages to get that smite in there. Nicely done from Snoopy to prevent that going over to Nidalee. As we are going to see Twisted Fate actually ulting down here. Maluno taking instant action when he sees that coming in. Throws down the flag, slides away and says, not today, Froggen.
Yeah, he manages to get to safety. Very versatile champion in terms of escapes. Just can just go over walls if needed. Destiny has been used, but it's not the end of the world because for some additional cooldown reduction from that Deathfire Grasp as well as the blue buff, Froggen will have that ultimate up very soon, and Shushay is about to catch out Wicked.
Yeah, he's going to catch Wicked out here, but can they finish off? Maybe now that Maluno is here as well. We are going to see Shen joining the party, and Dragonborns may have bitten off a bit more than they can chew in this one. Crepo comes down. Crescendo lands on Maluno. He's still alive here as he goes over to the turret. They flash in to make sure that that kill is going to be finished off, but in the meantime, they're pushing in this top lane. They're already onto that inhibitor turret. Are EG going to stay around and keep pushing themselves? No, they're going to be recalling from this one. Well, Dragonborns are going to have that inhibitor away. Inhibitor itself may just be safe now when they call it. Those recalls have come down. They're not stopping for now, but I think Crepo and Yellow Peak might be enough to stop this one happening. Meanwhile, in the jungle down the bottom side, Shushay got picked off by Froggen.
Yeah, exactly. Members of Dragonborns were trying to stop Evil Geniuses from recalling, trying to interrupt them as quickly as possible, buying time for Hosan and Spontex to try and get that inhibitor down. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it happen, so they end up losing Shushay. Spontex is going to get revealed by Destiny, and Froggen, where has he gone? He's decided not to just use it. He was trying to get to safety. He's going to catch on Hosan.
He's coming in here on towards Hosan, and will just put the damage down right where Froggen comes in, forces him away. There's the spear from Hosan. So well played.
Hosan's timing was insanely good. The second that Froggen appeared, you've seen those claws of the Cougar form just tearing apart Froggen's face, and I cannot get over how incredible his timing was on that play. It literally allowed him to pick up the kill. He didn't even use barrier. Against Froggen. I want to take us all the way back to the beginning of that fight because a combo came out that is very, very good for Evil Geniuses here. The Deathfire Grasp into the Deathmark combo of Froggen and Wicked with the Twisted Fate and the Zed is literally going to melt any squishy on the team. If Nidalee, Elise, or Kha'Zix get caught, they will go down because the amount of burst is insanely high.
Well, right now, Dragonborns pushing through towards that middle inner turret. Draven ulti comes back to get rid of the wave, but the Cocoon has landed on towards Crepo. Yellow Pete's damage enough to force them back for the kill, but Dragonborns have got the turret.
So they take a turret lead now 7-4. They continue applying pressure with that inhibitor exposed in the top lane. If they decide to group up and try and brute force their way through it, they may be able to secure that inhib. It's a quick stock of the items right now. As you can see, Hosan and the rest of Dragonborns pushing the bottom lane. Brutalizer and Giant's belt collected for Snoopy, and Yellow Pete's been caught.
Oh, this is bad news for EG. He's going to flash away, but the repel coming in. Is he going to get the kill? Stand United comes down, and Shushe going to die there to Wicked. Yellow Pete just about survives it, and Dragonborns forced to back away. They're going to be throwing spears through that entire time, but that was a great reaction coming out of Snoopy.
Yeah, exactly, but the Stand United is now down, so if anybody gets caught by a cocoon or a spear, the potential is there to go on Crepo. 2 spears down to a third of his life. Going to start backing further and further away. Again, spears going Crepo so close there. And we do see another engagement in the middle lane.
Yeah, Spontex just taking damage from Froggen. They are both at the same level at this point. And actually, we've got the Manamoon plus the Black Cleaver at this point with a Giant's belt as well on Spontex. So he probably feels decently strong going up against Froggen at that point. But either way, Dragonborns are still pushing here on towards that bottom lane as we see the heals coming down. Hosan will have to pounce away.
And this is the game plan that Evil Geniuses have to play. Froggen is not there because he cannot afford to be. He needs to be pushing the lanes, needs to be pushing minions in his favor elsewhere on the map, and use that Destiny when it's really, really necessary. Dragonborns are staying grouped up as 4, and this is the Destiny we're talking about. Look at Snoopy from the side.
Yep, coming in from the side of this one. Will Froggen decide to go in there? No, he's not going to. He's just going to have the vision, and that will be fine for him by now. You can see that Elise forced away onto that top lane just to push those minions back that Froggen had already been causing problems with earlier on as the spears come across. Actually, that would have killed the blue buff if it didn't actually was
body block.
Yeah, body block. I don't think Snoopy really meant to block that one, but
nevertheless, it worked out for the best at the end of the day. Good positional play from Shushe, because as soon as they seen Froggen was in the top lane, he actually recalled relatively quickly, and as Froggen decided to use the Destiny for vision and to try set up a gank on Dragonborns, Shushe was already clearing the wave out and the Dragonborns were retreating. The Dragonborns are making the right decisions right now in this stage of the game. The longer it goes, the more power the Shen and the Twisted Fate split pushing will have. And that's when it's going to be so key. One poor team fight of a 4v4 or a 4v3, which will become a 4v5 with Stand United and Destiny, could literally turn the entire tide of this battle. But on the same token, if Dragonborns, they secure the dragon here, if they pick up a good team fight win, they've got an exposed inhibitor. They can be on the Nexus turrets within minutes.
And with that dragon going over, it'll bring the gold lead to 40,000 to 37.5. Nice lead that Dragonborns have got right now. See the Chalice, Fiendish Codex coming out there, moving up towards that Athene series Hosan as he keeps throwing those spears over cocoons as well. I mean, with the Void Spikes, with the Dragon Strike, they've got good poke in this lineup. And EG are probably going to struggle to hold on to this. The later the game goes on, the more all that stuff's going to hurt.
And not only do they have such great poke, they've got such sustain as well. Needly and Soraka with the heals. The damage onto Froggen, he cannot stay hang around for these fights because the Dragonborns are just going to keep chunking down the turret. It is going to be hard for them to take turrets, though, because Jarvan and Spontex are their attack damage champions who are melee. They don't have an Ezreal, a Caitlyn, a Draven to continually take damage. And you see how strong they are? They're not dealing damage to the turrets.
But one thing they do have in their favor, which some poke comps like this can often have problems, as we are going to see Shushe coming in, flashing from Froggen. Hosan taking a lot of damage, but he's still alive. They kill Snoopy. Hosan finally will drop as a repel comes down from Elise. Froggen will have Wicked flashing in towards him, but actually Spontex was right up in there. Yellow Peak going to come out. Will he get caught out? He gets knocked up here. He is going to go down to Shushe. That's a 3-for-1 for Dragonborns.
Dragonborns are going to be so happy with that. The healing coming out of Soraka is just so immense. The Wish literally saving their lives in the middle of that fight. They're going to get this turret down with 15 seconds on the clock before Shen and Crepo are back. Dragonborns are going to happily walk away, and this is such great play from them. They're not sticking around longer than they need to. They're taking the objective that they are happy with. They are moving back, and they're just going to carry on applying the pressure now the inhibitors are revealed.
Really great stuff coming out of Dragonborns. And my point was that when we see this kind of the AP in Italy, we always comment about if that blue buff's not there, she has a real problem to, keeping those spears coming the entire time. But when you've got a Soraka there, it's like, well, I got a mobile blue buff with a heal as well. So they can just sit at those towers the entire time and throw in. We even saw there when EG engaged, they still came out 3 for 1.
Yeah, because the heals were just so immense. Spontex as well, he dove to the back line. So it was 4 members of Dragonborns facing off against 2 of EG, and Spontex just terrorizing everybody from the back. He's got a decent chunk of HP with that Giant Spell. His Mirror Mana has just been completed, along with his Last Whisper and Black Cleaver. And talking about the mana, you've got Hosan sitting with an Athene's Unholy Grail.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's always going to help. So not only has he got the mobile blue buff with him, his Athene's is going to be so powerful as well. Dem bananas.
Yeah, they've also got the Shurellias in there. I really like that addition, so that if EG do come running at them, they're able to run away from it. Or, you know, even get the fast engage if they land a good spear or two onto the right people. And with that cocoon in there, the Cataclysm to lock them up, really get a great set of abilities that the Dragonborns have, as Froggen will pop his ultimate. He's actually going to come in, but I'm not sure his positioning is the best in this one. Cataclysm comes down. Froggen is somehow still alive in this, right in the middle. Finally picked up by Maluno. Wicked going very low. That's a 1 for 0. Then Spontex comes in, gets the first jump over. Maluno comes in crescendo. Too late for Crepo. The jump over the top. Is this going to be the ace? The spear comes in, but Kha'Zix gets the kill. Triple kill for Shushei. And an ace for Dragonborns. 40 seconds. They can win this game right here and right now. This is not looking good for Evil Geniuses. They start off the first Nexus turret. The heals coming in. They can tank them up all day long with the Nidalee Soraka heals. First Nexus turret goes down. Second one's going to follow. There's 20 seconds until the first people start getting back into the game. Dragonborn's going to take the Nexus and beat Evil Geniuses.
I cannot get over how well they played that comp. It was a new composition, something we don't see. Double AD with sort of an AD jungler and top lane. They played it to perfection. Evil Geniuses tried to make that fight work, and it just did not work out for them.
You see Wicked shaking hands with the team, and it's never a nice feeling to lose a game like that. But I tell you what, they've got to give the props, to be honest, over to Dragonborns, because they have been so good. Coming out, innovative composition there coming in, and it worked like a treat.
Yeah, there's literally no other way to say it. They played it to perfection. They picked the engages that they needed. They backed away when they needed to. And I think the analysis desk will have so much to talk about after this game.
Yeah, and we shouldn't delay them any further in that one. So let's go over to Jason Demon and Aranea to break everything up.
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And wow, what a game! A meta change from Dragonborns. And well, the innovator down that bottom lane. And, you know, Joe